delegates from different countries. Welcome to Singapore as well as to the conference. Now this afternoon we are very fortunate to have Associate Professor Victor Tan to facilitate this particular workshop. Now Associate Professor Victor Tan is a faculty member from the Departments of Mathematics, and he has been teaching in NUS for more than 10 years, and we are very happy to know also that he has won numerous teaching awards, and the most prestigious one is the Outstanding Educator Award in our university, which he won in 2006. And Prof Tan is also very into the use of technology for enhancing teaching as well. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce pass the time to Prof.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan. Okay, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, may I know whether anyone's from NUS? Are you all from the same university? Yes. Okay, so right. So I have an interesting audience this afternoon, which is different from the one that I conducted this morning, which is mainly colleagues from my university. Yeah. So there are certain things that I'm going to talk about that is based on my own experience and some of the things pertaining to the facilities and cultures in this university. So if there's anything that you don't understand, you find that it's not familiar to you, just feel free to ask. All right? Okay, let's start. So, so what are we going to do this afternoon is to discuss about how to manage large class. Okay? The focus is on large class. Okay, of course, manage. I know it seems that you are managing students, is it? Yeah. So what kind of things do you manage? So is managing a large class relevant to you? Sort of. Okay, we'll find out, right? Maybe we can find something in common, right, in terms of managing and in the aspect of education. Okay. So what we'll do is we will talk about some of the problems that is faced in a large class, both from the teacher's perspective and from the student's perspective. All right? And then we'll have a short break, and after the break, we will be talking about the solution and strategies. Okay? So it's going to be interactive. This is a workshop, it's not a lecture. So I will do some talking, provide the framework, and then hopefully you will actively participate. Yeah, I heard from your team leader that many of you just came in late last night, so you may not have a good rest. So if you fall asleep, I can forgive you. Yeah, but probably if you try to participate, that will keep you awake for the next 2.5 hours or so. Okay, so a little bit more about myself. Okay, so Alan introduced me. I'm from the Department of Mathematics. So I'm basically teaching maths major students as well as engineering students to their mathematics. Yeah, so engineering maths. So these are the courses that I taught, and most of them are level 1. That means first year university undergraduate level. Core modules, that means it's compulsory courses that they have to take. So you can imagine, most of these courses are big. You want to guess how big? Make a guess. Anyone? Don't be shy. You're all from the same school, right? So you all know each other. You want to guess? Guess? What about you?
Big in terms of?
Sorry?
Big in terms of?
Size. How many? How many students? 120. Okay. 420. Why 20? Why you like 20?
No, so I'm from a different country. So unfortunately, we're not students. It's some kind of open distance learning.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
But the university has got over 300,000 students. So all over the world.
Okay. So you are talking about a particular course. You can have as many as 1,000 of students.
So some modules have got over 10,000 students. One module.
I see. Okay, so here we are talking about those physical classes. Yeah, so you have face-to-face contact and so on. Okay, so I've been teaching in the past 10 years. As you can see that in the past, I've been mainly teaching large classes. And in the context of NUS, large classes is like 400, 500. And I even have a course that I have to coordinate 1,600 students. No, 1,600 is for the module, for the course, but it's split into different lecture groups. Okay, so I have 4 lecture groups teaching that course. Coordinator, I'm the coordinator, so I myself lecture as well, but I have to coordinate the course. Yeah, so there's a lot of management going on in it. Okay, yeah, so this is my experience. So there are some things that I can share with you. Okay, so I want to begin with one question. So there will be 2 statements here. They look similar, yeah, but you may think about it, interpret it yourself, and you tell me which one do you agree more. A, do the most for the best. B, do the best for the most. Almost the same sentence, but you swap the 2 words. Okay, so first of all, you have to interpret what do I mean by this, and then tell me which one do you agree. Okay. B, you all agree? Who thinks A? Anyone? So of course here I'm talking about students, right? Do the most for the best students or do the best for the most students? And I think that most of you agree with B. That's why you are here, right? Managing large class. So you want to make sure that you manage the class well so that most students benefit, yeah, from the experience from the class. Okay? But do you also agree that A is also important?
Yes, it is.
Yeah? If someone have the potential, someone have that talent, you want to nurture them as well, right? But it is actually a bit challenging if you want to take care of both at the same time. It's not impossible, but you have to put in even more effort. Yeah, I would say that just to deal with B itself is already quite challenging. Yeah, so there are a lot to consider. Yeah, but if you can't take care of both A and B, then of course we should focus more on B. But if you disagree with both A and B, then you shouldn't be in the business of teaching, right? Okay. So what this workshop is not about, so let me do some disclaimer first. Yeah, there are many aspects of issues about large class we can talk about. One common aspect is how to engage students in a large class when you're facing 200, 400 students in a large class. How do you make it active, interactive, and students are excited, are interested in the class? I will touch on it as well as one of the aspects. Yeah? But what I'm more interested to discuss this afternoon is the managing part, how to manage. Yeah? If you really want to go into the details about engaging students, we can have one full workshop on this itself. Yeah? And in CDTL, we actually I've seen a few colleagues conducting such a workshop. Okay? So it'll be a bit different today. Okay, how to cut down the amount of time and effort in managing large class. This is not what I want to focus, in the sense that how to spend less time and to achieve the same quality. Well, don't hope for that, okay? I mean, it's not possible to not spend time to manage a large class, okay? But there are still certain strategies that you can try to adopt in order to make efficient use of the time, to manage the time well. Yeah? But that doesn't mean that you spend less time. That means those times that you have saved, you have to pay attention to other aspects of the management of the large class. Okay? And you know that teachers teaching large class, especially in a university, students will give student feedback about the teachers, right? So they'll give a score. So, I mean, it's common that the higher, the bigger the class size, the lower the student feedback score, right? So this, again, this workshop is not about how to boost or improve your student feedback score per se, but well, I mean, certain tips and strategies that we're going to may help, okay? Again, I mentioned just now that this workshop is not just me giving you all the solution, yeah, but I also hope to learn from you, right? If you have experience teaching large class before or managing large class or any aspects of management, you can also share, yeah, share with us, share with everyone here. Okay. All right. So all this are part of the thing that I will cover, yeah, but there are many more. So it's not just these things. Yeah, I just want to make it clear. Okay, so say a little bit more about large class. So how big is big? I think different universities or even different courses will have different interpretation. Yeah. So, but generally, anything that hit 3 digits is considered big. So if you have 100 students, it's actually considered as a big class. Maybe 20 years ago, when you have 50 students in your class, you call that big. Yeah, but now, no more, right? So this is very common. You have 100 students in the class. Big enough for you to see problems managing it. Yeah. But if you have more than 150 to say up to 300, I will call it a large class. 300, 500, I call it a large class with capital L, capital letter. And what do you call classes with more than 500? Extra large. Yeah, I call it a huge class. Okay, but never mind. These are just my interpretation. Yeah, but the thing is that the more students you have in class, actually the less effective will be the process of teaching and learning, unless you do something, yeah? Unless you adopt certain strategies. Okay, and usually what type of modules will encounter such a large class size? Yeah? Popular modules. Usually in the case of my university, usually the first year's course, yeah? General education modules, all right? That means it's for the non-major. Maybe you're teaching maths, but to all students from other majors. Yeah? They just want to gain some general knowledge, yeah, about a certain topic. Okay? So those are usually quite large. And also engineering core modules, the one that I coordinate, 1,600, yeah, typical. Yeah? Those are large modules. Yeah. What is your largest, what modules is that?
So the other experience, so from my university, so modules which cut across the colleges or the programs. There are certain modules which cut across, so they're quite huge. Like one module in law, so
law,
financial marketing, so financial management for law students. So it cuts across. And there are some certain education modules which are quite huge. So they also cut across 3 programs. Yeah. So that's why I raised the issue of 10,000 students, but so from different programs. But it's one module which cuts across 3 programs or 6 programs.
Not surprising. Okay. Okay, actually, when I prepare for this workshop, I also sort of like survey some of the excellent teacher. So ET stands for excellent teacher. So I survey 12 excellent teachers who have taught large class and taught them well before, right? And try to get some of their experience and share some of their view as well. These are the class size that we are talking about. ranging from 100 over to again 1,002, 900, 800. Yeah? And again, typically you see that 1,002 are for the engineering. This one, 900, also for engineering. Yeah, this one for some general education module. Okay, yes?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How would you define an excellent teacher? Is it based on what students feel, or?
Well, okay, this one, of course, I have to base on, they have won some teaching awards before. Okay, but then teaching awards, how do we, what's the criteria? Yeah, student feedback is one aspect. I would say one important aspect. The other aspect is the peer review, right? So we have colleagues sit in the class to observe, yeah, and then write a peer review report. And then the third area is look at the module folder. So that means the teacher himself have to prepare some teaching portfolio, right? There are lecture notes, there are assignment, and all these things. And the teaching philosophy, yeah. And then there will be a group of committee members to decide, yeah.
Can I
Yes.
add something on that? So to respond to your question as well. So at the university they look at a number of things. One, research outputs. Two, community engagement. How do you involve yourself? Which projects? So do you facilitate in the community? So three, teaching and learning. So putting together the material, study guides, and then stuff like that. And then tutorial letters. And it's quite a few things. So things such as citizenship. So do you belong to certain committees, so within the university? And what's your role? It is a number of things. And so from there you'll be evaluated on all those things. And then so they'll sort of categorize and then sort of evaluate your performance based on all those sort of things.
Okay,
and so from there maybe you can say, so this person deserves a particular award based on all those small things.
Yeah, in my university, in NUS, there's basically also these three aspects: research, service, and teaching. Yeah, but if you're talking about teaching awards, excellent teachers, we're more looking at the performance of his, in terms of his teaching portfolios. Yeah. Okay. Feel free to ask questions anytime. Forgot to mention that handout will be given to you in a while, right? But because there's something that I want you to first, later on, I'm going to ask you to discuss and then share your experience. And answers is there, so I don't want to give out the handout first. So after the discussion, then you'll get a handout. So you don't really have to copy anything. No, I don't mean by standard answer, but some of my suggested, points. Yeah. So this is it. Okay. So as I said, we want to start by discussing what are some of the problems with large classes. I still haven't asked how many of you actually have taught large class before. Okay. Okay. And you're students, right? So have you attended a large class before? No? Okay. So when I say large class, maybe just 100. You don't have to think of 1,006. Okay. So so from the student's perspective, it's also good for you to try to share what are some of the problems. Yeah? Okay? So what I want to do now is some free discussion time, maybe in pair or in three, all right? So you all will try to come up with a list of problems that will be faced by either the teachers or students in large class, and then we will all share. Yeah? We'll go through one by one, and then I'll let you know some of the problems that I've compiled as well. Yes?
You see, I mean, so that question, so for me, it's somehow rhetoric, if I put it that way, because it depends. I mean, because some universities they use the concept students, so some other universities they use the concept learners.
That's
so some other universities or institutions, they use people, right?
People.
Yeah, yeah, of course yes. But if you're talking a particular generation, right? Like a generation of a particular age, right? It will be different from a generation of a younger age, right? In terms of experiences.
Okay.
I don't know if you're with me.
So what's your point?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, so if you're teaching a class of adult students, so it will differ with a large class of younger students of a particular age. Say, for example, age between 20 and 25, as opposed to 25 to 40.
Okay.
You see that? So the other generation will behave, right? And they know why they are there. So the other generation will be, they want that things to happen now, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But we'll share those experiences.
I know where you're coming from because you're doing this distance learning. So there are actually a lot of adult learners and more mature learners. Yeah. So let's just don't restrict ourselves to a particular age group or whatever, right? So just free flow thinking, okay? Any kind of age groups, you know, as long as you're when you are teaching a large class, what kind of problems you will face, okay? So maybe 10 minutes you all can discuss, yeah, just 2 or 3 in one groups, yeah, and then. So later I'm going to write down on the whiteboard what you have taught. So have you have an answer to my question? Everyone will have to give me one, huh? Okay? Starting from here, on this side. Okay, so I'm going to write down. Okay. You may have more than one, but I think to be fair to everyone will give me one. So if after going one round, you have something to add, we can share. Yeah?
I would like to say that special attention is not given to individual students.
Okay, attention. Yeah, from students' perspective, I think attention for students. Huh? Yes?
A lot of distraction.
Distraction. Well, elaborate? I mean, inside the class. Very noisy? Or?
Noisy.
Yeah,
The student wouldn't concentrate.
Distraction in the classroom.
When there's a large class of around 300 students, you waste time on just correcting one of them when the entire audience is waiting for you.
Waste time to?
Waste time correcting just one particular student sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that definitely is not the right way to do in the large class, right? So how should I put that?
Avoiding wastage of time on a particular student.
This actually understand?
It's lowered effectively.
People usually avoid it.
I understood your
because
point.
they want to finish the portion. So.
Okay, let me just go down. We start for short, we know what it means. Yes, the next one?
Every student there might not have the same grasping part or the grasping level.
Okay, different
Levels
in terms of level, in terms of aptitude as well. Let me put this down as diversity, which is one of the aspects that I will be discussing in details. Next.
From the lecturer's point of view, there will be a lot of distraction in class if there is such a huge class.
Distraction for the lecturer.
Discipline kind of.
Discipline.
Discipline won't be maintained.
Disciplines problems from the students. Okay, discipline. So discipline inside the classroom. Okay. In the class. Okay, next.
The teachers are unable of giving concentration to many students equally. Suppose if one student does not understood the topic, and the teacher can't go and guide him personally something during the class.
Okay, so something like personal attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In a large class of students, fine.
Like suppose there are around 200, 300 people. The clarity of the whole lecture will get distorted in some way or another. It won't work properly to each student.
Okay. Quality of the delivery. Okay. We're done with this side, right?
Yeah, I found it very difficult even to maintain eye contact with all my students.
Eye contact.
Yeah. Because and it constantly gives me a sense of guilt that I'm not able to reach out. The one who's sitting at the back.
Difficult to
reach out.
Reach out or establish some kind of relation or
yeah.
contact. Okay. This is from the teacher's perspective.
See, there's distraction among the students, that's one thing. Plus, even those who are concentrating, when there is a big class, they are also distracted. Like, say, suppose, see, there's one lot which is sitting at the back, and there are large numbers, they are not paying attention. Another one who's sitting, listening to a lot of, voices and all this, he'll also start looking at the back or something like that.
Okay, so definitely the teacher will have to do something to do some kind of control.
Also, and those who are always distracted, they are all the more distracted.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so again, this distraction. Yeah. Give me one.
I don't know. I mean, so the issue of swapping classes. So sometimes, yeah, swapping classes, sort of students moving from one class to another, and then of course it comes in so to point number 3, whereby you waste a lot of time. In other words, you waste time in terms of trying to sort of settle everybody, to sort of get everybody settled. And so the other thing is the issue of the resources. If you don't have relevant resources in the large classes, you always experience problems.
Yeah. Resources can be in terms of manpower, the people.
Yeah,
they help you as well.
An umbrella term.
Facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Limitation.
There might be a communication break with the students because it's a large number. So people may not.
Communication. Yeah, it will be difficult for the teachers to be able to effectively communicate to all 100 students, not to say 500. Yeah.
The depth of knowledge transfer, the quantity of knowledge that is being gained by a person in the class, in the sense when it is in a huge class, the kind of the teacher might want to give more of the concentration or might want to go into the deeper versions of the particular topic, but he or she is unable to do it because it's a huge class. So it's like he just have to it's like just moving on.
So you cannot cater to
specific needs.
Simply putting, cannot give the most to the best.
Yeah, that's the
diversity issues. Yeah.
My point is the same. See, each student responds differently to a teacher, and when the number increases, then there's a lot of distraction, and so that's my point.
Maybe individual needs and individual supports given by the teachers to the students.
I think the motivation level of the students towards the teacher in the large audience, it's very difficult to keep the students motivated for say an hour or so.
They're not motivated. Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 points from the teacher's perspective. Large class may create a lot of pressure on a teacher, mentally and physically.
Okay.
And second thing is that if you have to do some kind of activity, then we may not be able to do it effectively, because many people will be there, and even though we divide the groups, even then the groups will be larger and the response that we get will not be positive.
Yeah. There's a lot of constraints. You can't carry out certain class activities.
Yeah, what I feel is the effectiveness in doubt clarification, the number of doubts that ways that come up and how many of them that you can answer gets reduced when the number is more. Like in a smaller class, the doubts would be smaller, the answers you give would be a more bit elaborate. But in a larger class, it's restricted.
Other for students to ask questions and yes. For teachers to answer individual questions or response. Yeah. Okay, last.
Okay, last one thing. Overall receptivity of the students may be lowered due to this large size of the class. Receptivity as in the amount of knowledge that can be grasped and retained. I mean, people can learn things and forget them. So, when the class is very big, students may find it difficult to stay on board with what the teacher is teaching. So,
that can be because of many reasons. One, of course, is distractions again. Yeah. Another is because the teachers have to cater to students who are fast learners and slow learners. And of course, the faster one have no problem, but the slow one will have difficulties catching up. Yeah, so diversity, distractions, all this will contribute to that. Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to add any more points?
Usually in a large class, like a person may feel shy to open up when they don't, and in a smaller class, a student will open up better.
Intimidating. To speak up or to participate, right? Anything else? Of course, there are many more. I'll show you my list. Okay, but let's now look at what my 12 excellent teachers have to say. You can see that, is it blocking you? Okay. Okay, so level of competence we have already mentioned. Okay, this one says no difficulty. Okay, the reason is that she enjoyed it so much. Some teachers actually enjoy teaching large class. They're full of energy in the classroom. If you engage students well, yeah. So if you enjoy so much that you may not see the problem. Everything can be solved. Yes.
Don't you think it will differ from subject to subject? When, for example, something like what you teach, the quantitative subjects definitely require a smaller group than for example, if it is a communication kind of a subject where you require a lot of interactions between the students, definitely I think the larger class would always have more impact because more information and inputs being given by the students. But a quant-oriented papers, definitely the competencies definitely of the students as well as the teacher varies. So maybe the level of the teaching, the faculty might be like really of a very high standard, very high reputed. He might be a product of a high reputed institution, but the kind of knowledge that he transfers to the students might not be very well communicated.
Yeah, thanks for your point. Yeah. So these 12 teachers come from different faculties, different areas. So some actually face more problems than the others, like what you say. Yeah. So and also one aspect is physical attendance. I don't know whether you experienced this or not. For large class, students tend to not attend the lectures physically. Yeah, especially if there's a webcast. It means if the lecture is being recorded, which is now more or less like something by default in this university. Yeah, and all the large class will automatically be recorded. Yeah, so students have a choice, to choose to view the webcast instead of attending the physical lecture. Okay, overwhelming. There's a lot of things to be planned to do. On top of that, there will be, students will come for consultation. Yeah, so if you have 400 students, it's easily you get 10 or 20 students to come, especially before the exam. Yeah, so that can be quite daunting. So this one again is about the background of the students varies. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Marking is also a problem. Right? You have 400 students, and then you have to mark written question. Yes, so if you have 400 students, that means just one question itself, you have to mark 400. Yes?
Can I quickly share with you, so on the issue of marking, like as I said that in our university, some of the modules have got huge number of students.
Yeah. So how do you solve this problem?
Yeah. So the university contracts, so the external people, so assist us, but qualified. So people who assist us with marking. And then we'll take those people through a particular training, right, so that they understand, so the university systems, right? And then so from there, so they will mark and will moderate.
Okay.
Because I mean, I cannot mark 10,000.
Definitely.
Right?
That's crazy.
So now I will need, say, plus or minus 20 external markers.
Sure.
So for example, if it's undergraduate qualification, like for example, BCom, BEd, whatever, right? So the university will appoint somebody with at least master's degree in that particular field. And then so from there we'll take you through the process so that you understand the systems.
Sure.
Right? As soon as you are on board, so we'll give you the scripts, the assignments and everything. You do the marking, so we'll do the evaluation, monitoring and moderation.
So distance learning, of course, is a totally different system, but even for like physical modules like this, you still need different graders, teaching assistant to help you to do the grading. Yeah. So anyway, there must be some kind of consistency when you do the grading. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that is one issue. Difficult to make changes. Yes. Once you have planned out your lesson plan, your the content that you want to deliver, and your assessment, all this is planned out, and it's quite difficult to change. Yeah, you don't want to cause confusion to the students. Yeah, so it's important for you to plan things ahead and plan things through things carefully. Okay. Of course, it will take a lot of time. Not being able in tune with the mood of the class. I think someone mentioned here as well. I mean, it's hard for the teachers to really know how the students are feeling. Yeah, whether they find the class too fast, too slow, too boring, or what. Yeah. Yeah. So even we make use of the TAs, teaching assistant, to help a lot in the teaching. But again, there's this quality problem. Yeah. So I agree with you that quality assurance, you have to at least make sure that the TAs is up to a certain standard. Yeah. Otherwise, your students will be unhappy, feeling that it's unfair, right? If you get a lousy TAs. Yeah. Okay. A little bit more. So lecture turnout, again, is attendance. This one is about not being able to have a close rapport with the students, which is also mentioned just now earlier by some of you. Yeah. Okay, this one. Yeah, so for this particular lecturer, he do a lot of coordination. Yeah, he sort of like get a lot of TAs help. Yeah, but then his main problem will be coordinating all the TAs. Yeah, so allocate the work, but at the same time you have to ensure that consistency is there. Yeah, quality is there. Yeah. Okay, other than the diversity part as well. All right, so we have heard from you, we have seen from the 12 excellent teachers. Now let me summarize. So I'm going to group all these problems into 12 parts here. Okay, time and effort, diversity, and so on and so forth. Up to the last one, student feedback scores. I mentioned that with so much effort being put in, at the end you get a low score as compared to another teaching staff who is maybe teaching a small class and then enjoy a high. Yeah, is it fair? Okay, or is there a way to resolve this? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to pass now the handout as a promise. Okay, so we can take one. Oops, sorry. Are there enough? Thank you. Enough? Okay, so there enough going on, right? Okay, thanks. Okay, now I'm going to go through all these 12 points one by one. All right. So first one, time and effort. So needless to say, teaching a large class, you need to spend a lot of time and effort in many aspects. Yeah, so we have already talked a little bit about that. And of course, from the students' aspect is that teachers is already overwhelmed by doing a lot of all this admin stuff other than just teaching itself. So they do not have any energy left to give full attention to each and every single student. So from the student's perspective, they are not going to get enough attention like what some of the students here mentioned just now. Diversity, yeah, again, this is a main issue that I think is very common in large class. Yeah, so there are many different diversity. I'll show you in the next slide. But in any case, that will affect the difference in the student's background. Yeah, and so some students who do not have the necessary background or who are weaker, they will be lagging behind. Yeah, and then they'll feel discouraged. Yeah, especially when they see the other end. That means that the top students. Yeah, in a large class, you can easily have 20, 30, or even hundreds of good students. It's quite demoralizing and discouraging. Yeah, so some students will become detached, not motivated at all. But actually, motivation, like some of you mentioned here, is not only for the weaker students. The good students may be not motivated as well because the teacher have to take care of the average. So they cannot teach something that is too advanced, too challenging. Yeah? You cannot just pay attention to the top 10%, for example. So those very good students may again find that, oh, this course is not challenging enough, so they may switch off and not really putting in any effort. Yeah. So it's also not good for good students as well. Planning for the course, yes, very time-consuming. You have to put in more effort than just planning for a regular course. And moreover, you have to do planning early. Yeah? There are really many things to consider, order textbooks, arrange for venues for tests and things like that. Yeah? And then, like someone mentioned before, it will be difficult to make changes. Once you have planned this, when the term starts, you just have to follow this through. Yeah? Sometimes it's very difficult to change. Okay, I want to cover this topic later than this. Yeah, so sometimes it's not possible. Okay, so if you didn't plan properly and then you keep making changes, students will be confused, will be disoriented. Especially because these large classes are mainly for first-year students, yeah, level 1 students. So they are new to the system. Okay, so they get confused quite easily. Okay, so try to make things clear for them and don't minimize changes. Okay, so again, yeah, diversity. So when you talk about diversity, what aspect? So it can be students coming from different faculties. Yeah, certain modules, the general education module, students may come from arts, may come from science, may come from architecture, and so on. Yeah? So there's students from different strength, different background. Poly and JC, maybe you are not familiar with them. Poly means they are polytechnic students. Yeah? JCs are those that come from an A-level background. Yeah? So their earlier education background may differ. So they have different training. Their training is emphasized on different things. Yeah, so again, there will be problem. Exchange students are again, international students. Okay, the same. First year versus senior students. In NUS, the module system is students are free to take many modules. So third-year students may come and take a first-year modules and so on and so forth. Yeah, for some reason. Yeah, so the maturity level of the students may be different as well. Yeah. Yeah, again, the rest I think are the same. So, and it depends. Again, it depends on the subject. Some subject don't think there's really any diversity problem. It's just a homogeneous group of students. Just like today's, quite homogeneous. Okay. But some, you can see that there's a very high percentage of international students, especially engineering and science. Yeah, we have a big group of international students from China, from India, and so on. And big group of polytechnic students as well. Okay. Yeah, I think that's basically roughly let you know the kind of diversity that we have over here. Yes?
Do you think diversity really helps in a large class?
Okay, we are talking about diversity being a problem. Yeah, but you raise a good point. Later on I say that you can actually take advantage of diversity in some way, right, in some creative way to actually have that synergy or collaboration.
Communication is a problem there.
Can you elaborate the communication part?
I mean, there may be a lot of people who do not understand
what
you're trying to make them understand.
Yeah, definitely. That's why, being the lecturer, you have the responsibility to find out what backgrounds the students have or what they are lacking, and then you have to try to address the problem. Yes.
I should think so. It's having a point. So I remember the university, our university has entered into a huge agreement with the government of Ethiopia. Yeah. Specifically for the postgrad students, masters and doctoral students. So now the biggest challenge for us, I mean, it's the language. Yeah, it's a language, especially English. Yeah, and it's very difficult for them even to construct a simple sentence. But remember, they are postgrad students, masters and doctoral students. So now you battle to read what the student has written. You understand? I mean, so you've got to teach the students a language first. I mean, so this is how to construct a particular sentence. And then our suggestion was that, look, you rather give the student to people who are clued up with that language, right? So only do the monitoring. Otherwise, waste that student time. So that student will spend number of years. So on a particular, so trying to sort of finish a particular degree, not because the student is not clued up in terms of what is trying to figure out, but the language issue. So to construct, to make sense out of what she or he has written.
In the case of NUS, my university, not much of a problem because before the student enter, we have to ensure that they have certain proficiency in English. The language of instruction is in English. For graduate students, yeah, sometimes there can be a slight problem, but most of the students, graduate students, are actually those in the science, discipline. So language, I would say it will be more problems when they become a teaching assistant. Okay, but in terms of understanding, attending classes, they can still pick up, along the way. Yeah, that one usually not much of a problem. Okay, let's continue with discussing about the problems. Engage students in class. Yeah, this is quite a challenge as well. How do you engage? Yeah, just now, I think many of you mentioned about distraction. Yeah. That's because the teachers cannot get students' attention. Yeah, cannot get students to quiet down, to listen to the teachers. Yeah, of course, other aspects will be students find that attending classes is no use. Yeah, I don't understand. Or this teacher is boring, not engaging. So, if I have the lecture notes, if there's a webcast, then I just choose not to attend. Right? So that could be a problem. Yeah, so if the teachers is not doing a good job in engaging the students, of course the students will not be engaged, will not be motivated, and of course they will lack discipline. Yeah, so discipline problems was mentioned just now. Outside the classroom, yeah. So we try as much as possible to have a variety of teaching activities, like some of you mentioned, right? Limitation in terms of designing, come up with different kind of activities for students to learn. Yeah, so this is the issue that I will also talk about a little bit in a while. And of course, it's not easy to monitor, whatever is going on outside the classroom. And then for students, we really want to have as many exercise or many activities to engage them so that they have enough contact or enough encounter with what they are learning in this course. Yeah? So if it's difficult for you to design all these additional activities, then the students will not have enough practice. Yeah? And assessment, similarly, there's also limitation to have too many assessments. Marking is a problem. Yeah? And again, this will result in students having inadequate practice. Okay, discipline is not just in the classroom, they talk and make noise, but also discipline in terms of doing their work. Yeah? Whether they will find exercise to practice more, to become better in terms of their performance. Okay? Announcement. Okay, I personally sometimes find problem with sending out message to the students. Okay, you can say that you just announce whatever you want to tell the student in class. That may or may not work if only 60% of students come to your class, right? Then you say that you send emails. But I don't know, many students don't read emails. I mean, can you share with us, do you check emails that is sent by the university, by your professor? Regularly? Or once a month?
You have to be told twice or thrice to actually do that.
Yes. Well, I mean, actually students have their own Gmail, those commercial accounts. They usually will check those. But the NUS one, the universities one, sometimes they will just do it like once a month, and then sometimes the deadline is already over, and then they still, yeah. So again, some students are not following the progress of the course. If they don't attend lecture, if they don't read the messages, then there will be problem. Yeah. So again, that's something to do with discipline. Monitoring, yes, the teachers cannot monitor whether students are participating, how much they have progressed, what they have understood. Students, again, if the teacher don't monitor them, chances are they don't have discipline. Yeah, they rather go and do something else, CCA, take part in some activities or go and earn some monies outside, things like that. Yeah, difficult for the teachers to provide individual feedback. How are you going to feedback to all 400 students? Yeah, with individual comments or remarks. This is not possible, right? Okay. So if you don't provide this kind of individual feedback, then from the student's point of view, there will be some misconception that never get clear. Yeah, so students will just carry on with a misconception, and then at the end may fail the exam. Okay. You notice I put asterisk to some of the points. So I haven't explained that. Okay, I'll talk about that in a while. Attention and support, again, is difficult to provide attention and support at the individual level. Yeah. So students then will have doesn't have an opportunity to ask questions if they want. Then again, there will be problems with disorientation, detach, and so on. Okay, teaching assistants. The biggest problem will be in terms of the quality. Yeah. So again, we mentioned that just now. So some teaching assistants are good, some are not so good, some are experienced, some are not experienced. Some are responsible, some are don't care, right? And some TAs from foreign countries may have language problems. Yeah, so there are a lot of inconsistency there. So how do we resolve this? We'll talk about that as well. So of course, students who get lousy TAs, they will be unhappy. Yeah, or worse, if the TA is not experienced, then the student may end up not learning anything from the class. Yeah, have you experienced that before? Taught by TAs. Yeah, and then if the TAs is not responsible, then he or she is not going to give any attention to the students. Yeah, and that will defeat the purpose. The whole point of splitting up a large class into a small discussion group is so that we can have a more personalized communication interaction with the students. But if the TAs is not doing this job, then it's no use. Yeah. Well, of course, finally, student feedback score, that is a big concern about for the teachers themselves, right? P&T means promotion and tenure. Right? You know the university system here. Contract renewal, performance bonus, this kind of aspects. Yeah. So this, I would say, that is a consequence of not managing the large class well, right? So if you can actually do something, have some good strategies to address these issues, then of course this may also in turn help in
student feedback. Can I help on what colleague asked, and then you respond to that? I mean, so she asked you as to how do you handle a large class, more especially point number one. So how do you support your students? I mean, more especially a large class. So remember, she asked you that question.
How do you support?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in, so here you are as a lecturer, so you are faced with a class of about 500 students, right? And you've got to do your job. So how do you maneuver your way out of that particular challenge?
Okay. So of course, as I said, the second half I'll be talking about that, incorporating with my own experience as well as some in the literature. Yeah. Okay. But you want solutions, right? So here, before we go for a break, yeah, I'll give you a preview with a one-line solution to each of the points.
Seriously is the feedback taken by a lecturer?
Sorry?
How seriously is the feedback being taken by a professor?
Student feedback?
Yeah. Can you give me an instance where you had taken some feedback and changed something of your, say, teaching or your approach towards students?
Of course, it will depend on individual lecturer whether he take this student feedback seriously or not. For most young colleagues, because it will affect their promotion and so on, so they better, if they have a low score, they better look at those written comments by the students. You know what really went wrong. Yeah. So you will have to talk to other colleagues and see how to improve. Yeah.
Can you give me any instance that you have gone through such a?
Yeah. I mean, an example: if a student says that the lecture notes is very confusing, yeah. So you have to really see whether that's true or not. I mean, and then make some improvement in your lecture. If many students say that you are going too fast, well, maybe when you are delivering the class, you are not aware of that. Okay. Maybe you genuinely think that, well, this is a regular pace, but maybe the class consists of a lot of weak students, slow learners. So then you have to adjust your speed accordingly, right? Yeah. So there are many different ways that you can, many different information that you can extract from the student feedback.
Every feedback is very important for any kind of teacher. Could be a junior teacher or a senior teacher. Because they speak from their experiences and it gives you a new insight. So even if it is a general comment or an open-ended comment, I think all the teachers, they take it quite seriously.
Unfortunately, some, especially the more senior teachers, may feel that what do the students know, right? They are, they are immature, so they don't take their comments seriously. And some actually may find offended, but
Students' perspective is always different.
Yes.
You think we think rather we delivered the best. It may not be received by the same at the same wavelength by the students.
You're saying we are more biased?
No, it's not bias. It's not the question of bias also. You know, the levels may vary. Sometimes I come back to the staff room stating that, yeah, I really did a fantastic job. I taught them very well, and I could see this, you know, contentment on the faces. But then there could be a couple of students who write back to me telling that, you know, you deviated from the core and then ended up somewhere. Then that puts me back to my my shoes, and then I have to have a kind of boundaries.
You should look at this.
There is a problem, as you said, like, you know, feedback. Can the students differentiate between a good teacher and a popular teacher? That's the question you need to ask. Some of the lectures are really very engaging. They're so good, but end of the class, they really deliver what is required for the student. So,
I would say that it's important to read student feedback, but you have to make your own judgment sometimes, you know, to see why students write such comments in a certain way. Yeah, is it a valid or reasonable comments and things like that? Yeah. Okay, let's quickly go through what we are going to do in the second half, and then we will have a break. Okay, so time and effort. So later on, we are going to see some of the efficient time management strategies. Yeah, and diversity. Of course, one-line solution will be have to understand their background, and then we try to address what is the disparity. Planning for the course. Well, if you have already taught this course before, then of course you try to build on your past experience, right? So that when we come to planning, doing it again, it will be much easier. Engagement in class. Later on, I'll go in details. What are some of the innovative approach you can adopt in the classroom, right? So to engage the student more. And outside the classroom, again, you must have some innovative way. I know it's not easy, but sometimes you just have to think out of the box, you know, some creative idea in order to come up with some activities that will benefit to the students. Assessment, okay, I use the word innovative many times. Huh? Okay, so you see now the word asterisk here always come with a solution help from TA. Teaching large class is not a one-man show. It's teamwork. Whether you like it or not, you have to have co-lecturers, teaching assistant to work with. Yeah. So there are many aspects. Assessments is one of them. You have to rely on them to help you to do the marking. Yeah. Announcements, okay, you have to try to use various channels to read out the students. Monitoring, again, you need the help from TAs a lot, okay? And of course, tutorials, or you call it discussion group. You break your 200 students into smaller groups so that it's easy for you to monitor, or for your TAs to monitor and then feedback to you, yeah? So giving feedback to the students at your own personal level, you probably can't do it one by one, but you can summarize the common mistakes and feedback to the students. Yeah? So again, you rely on your TAs to give a more personalized kind of feedback. Okay? And peer learning is also important. I think it is gaining popularity in terms of try to group students of maybe either different abilities or similar abilities, depending, okay? And so that they can learn from each other, yeah? So they can also feedback to each other. Attention and support, okay, this is what you are interested. So this is the one-line suggestion first, but we'll look into more details later on, yeah? So at the lecturers or professors level, you can only do it selectively. You can't attend to all your 400 or 1,000 students, yeah? So you make your choice. And then at your TA's level, you can have a more personal attention given to them and support given to them. And again, try to form small groups among the students so that they can support each other. Yeah? So there are different levels of support that you can try to establish for your course. Okay, so teaching assistant, I want to stress, you see that there's so many asterisks to many of the points. So teaching assistant is very important. Quality. So you have to ensure that they are doing their job. So communication, monitoring, and training. Yeah, I want to emphasize on this issue of teaching assistants. Yeah, and finally the student feedback scores. I will give some tips at the end of this session. Okay, so why don't we go for a short break, 15 minutes break, and then we'll come back for the second half. Okay, we'll start in 1 minute's time. So basically what we are going to do in the second half is still focusing on the 12 problems and issues that I spelled out earlier on. But now I want to suggest some strategies and solutions for each item. Okay, so you have any questions or you have any other suggestion, you can also bring it up. All right. Well, remember the first one, the most important issues, of course, is the time and effort that you need to spend managing a large class. Yeah, so it's important for you to make efficient use of your time, manage your time well. Yeah. So before I tell you how to do that, I think the most important thing is to budget your time. What do I mean by that? You have to plan how much time you want to spend on this, let's say every day, right? I mean, it's not going to end. There are so many, there are endless things that you can do for your large class, yeah? But you can't spend like every day 10 hours just to do this, yeah? So you have to tell yourself, don't get carried away. So every day I'll set this amount of time and work on this, yeah? Okay, so once again, if you have done this modules or course before, then you can build on your past experience. Yeah, that actually will save you some time. Yeah? So whatever you have done wrong or you want to make improvement, yeah, you can take notes. And so next round, you can refer to it, and then so prevent to make the same mistakes again. Yeah? So whatever you have created this time, don't throw them away, right? Archive it, build up a question bank. So all the exercise problems, you can modify and reuse again next time. Yeah? So actually coming up with problems with exercise, that is actually quite difficult. Sometimes more time consuming than preparing a lecture notes. Yeah? To come up with good question. So once you have that, you try to reuse it again. Yeah? Okay, putting course information online so that students can go refer to the information there instead of coming, every time will come and ask you. So imagine 100 students, everyone come and ask you. You're spending unnecessary time answering questions. Yeah? So we can actually make better use of the time by doing putting some of the things online so students can refer there themselves. Okay? So take notes of those frequently asked questions. Yeah, so certain concepts students don't understand. Yeah, you can prepare a kind of a list and then try to answer and put out on the web so students can refer to it. Yeah, so instead of you repeating it 20 times to 20 students. Yeah. Setting ground rules. So just now some of you talk about distraction, discipline problem. So these are some of the things that you want to set the rules. Yeah. So what has it to do with the time and effort? There are some aspects of requests that students, maybe, for example, they want to change tutorial groups. Some of them mentioned about that, right? They change tutorial groups, so you have to try to address whether they can do that or not. Change the try to do makeup tests, yeah, instead of the actual test. Yeah, so all these queries, all these requests, yeah, this will take up a lot of time as well. But if you think about it, these are all administrative logistic issue. Yeah, so if you can set some ground rules on day one, yeah, so students know that they don't have to try. Yeah, sometimes they are just trying their luck whether they can get by. Yeah, so I'll show you more details in the next slide about this setting rules. Okay, very important. If you are going to do everything by yourself, yeah, you can't manage, right? You have to get a lot of help from the TAs. Yeah. And sometimes you also try to get help from admin staff as well. Certain administrative, logistic aspect of the course, like assigning tutorial groups, labs, all these things, you can leave it to the admin staff to help you. Yeah, you don't have to do everything by yourself. Yeah. But then, of course, when you do that, that means you have to coordinate with all these different people. Okay? Okay, any questions or anything you want to add? Our friends is not back today. Okay, never mind, let's move on. Okay, talking about this setting ground rules. Yeah, so any rules that you want to set for your class, make it clear on the first day. Yeah? And then students will tend to forget. So you have to have constant reminder from time to time. Yeah? And make sure that you carry out your rule, be firm. Yeah? I mean, some students may come and say, please, let me change your group, and don't try to give in so easily. Yeah? Otherwise, more people will come, and then you are in trouble. Yeah? So be firm, but have to be fair. Yeah? Treat everyone equally. Okay, some of the common requests, as I said, like changing tutorial. This is very common. Yeah? Yeah, you have a big class, so you have like 20 different tutorial groups, so many time slots. And yet some students say that I cannot make it to any of the tutorial groups. So then you are having problems. Yeah? Or they want this group, but this group is already taken up. No more vacancies. So all these issues, how are you going to manage it? Yeah? You set the ground rule. Yeah? So yeah, basically it's first come, first serve. If you come in late, register late, then sorry, you have to take another group. Yeah? So things like that. Or you can actually get help from the admin staff to deal with this issue. Late submission of homework. Yeah? So do you entertain students who submit their homework late? Again, if you give in once, that means more students will come back. Next time, nobody will hand in on time. Yeah? Then you are going to have a lot of logistic problem. Yeah? So make it clear. You're not going to accept any late homework. Yeah? Plagiarism, that means students try to copy answers from each other or copy from the website and things like that. Yeah? Luckily for essay type of question, now you have something called Turnitin or some technology that can help to do some checking, right? But for my course like mathematics, you can't turn it in. Okay, so you have to rely on your graders to be very vigilant to check. Yeah. But what you can do is to sort of like threaten your students. Say, okay, anyone caught plagiarized, you are going to get 0 marks and you'll be penalized, disciplinary dealt with. Just scare them a little bit. Yeah. So this will reduce the chance. I'm not saying that 100% works, but it will have some deter effect. Yeah, deterrence. Absent from tests, right? If some students just miss the test for no reason, are you going to set makeup tests for them? Of course not, right? But if students have MCs, for some medical condition, then of course there is a reason. Then you have to set a makeup test. Yeah, but there are some students who keep giving you MCs. You set a makeup test, they don't come, they produce another MC, and then you have to set more makeup tests, then it's going to be endless. Yeah, so again, you must set some ground rule. Okay, there's only one makeup test. If you don't make it, that's it. Yeah. Absent from class, whether how you want to penalize them or take away points from them. Yeah, so all this, you have to make it clear at first. Frequently asked question. So like what I said just now, there are students who come and ask you some not content-related question. Yeah, whether they can use pencil to write for their exam, things like that, some minor things. And this kind of question, they can come in like 10 and 20s. And you don't want to keep answering this kind of question, right? So you can put up, the list on the internet and tell them in day one, okay, just first, you don't come to me first, you go to the internet and look for information. If you cannot find that, then you come to me. Yeah? If you can find that, I'm not going to answer it. Yeah? Because if you are trying to answer all these emails or all these questions, it's a lot of unnecessary time being spent. Okay? Okay, anything to add? Okay, again, let's look at some of the things that my 12 excellent teachers have done. Okay, the first one, I may set something else for them referring to makeup tests. Yeah, so if there's valid reason, then of course. Yeah, but you can see that if you go through this, most of them are very strict in terms of submission. Yeah, homework submission. There's a deadline, you better follow the deadline. Yeah. But there are students who say that, oh, I have already done the homework, I forgot to bring. So whether you entertain that or not. Yeah. So some lecturers are very strict, just no means no. Okay, for me, sometimes I'm a bit kinder because the students genuinely put in the effort to do the work. I don't want to discourage them. So the way I resolve this is, okay, I still let you submit your work, but there'll be some points deducted. Yeah, I think 1 or 2 points deducted to them is a big deal. Okay, so you send them the message that, okay, next time I will remember to bring. Yeah, so it will work. Yeah, so if you do not want to totally turn down the students' late work, yeah, that's something you can do. Okay, what else? Okay, tutorial class basically is first come, first serve, or yeah, I think these are basically the same. Yeah, there are some lecturers have the benefit of having TAs or lab officers to help them to arrange tutorial class, to manage the tutorial class. Yeah, so that means you don't have to worry about that. But if not, then of course you must have very clear, as I said, all these ground rules that help you to minimize this unnecessary work. Okay? Yeah, as you can see, some are more strict, some are accommodating. Yeah, they allow switching of class. Yeah. Okay, more or less the same, right? This one, late submission, not allowed. Yeah, so all those important dates, when is the test, when to submit homework, on day one you should put it up and make it available. So hopefully the students can remember, yeah? But you should follow up with reminders, yeah, before the due date. Okay, let's move on. Okay, diversity. Diversity is a problem for any large class. Yeah? So it's important for you as a lecturer to find out the background. Yeah? So just now you see the examples is that students may come from engineering, may come from business school, may come from arts. So what is the distribution? Is it majority engineering students and some art students or what? Yeah? So try to understand that. In my university, the enrollment information, enrollment data will capture the students' major. So that will help a little bit. Yeah? So whatever additional information that you need, you know, which country they come from, what is their education background, you can do some survey during the class. Yeah? So just find out what is the distribution like, okay? And whether students have the necessary background or not. Okay, so once you know the student's background, and there is indeed some disparity, then you have to address the problem, right? So what can you do? Students, they are very good students, they are very weak students. There are students who are fast, there are students who are slow. Yeah, so you have to make sure that you find the right level. Of course, that takes experience. Yeah, so sometimes the first time round, you may not gauge it so accurately. Yeah, so if you have the chance to teach again, look at the student feedback, and then you probably know how to adjust. Yeah, whether you should go slower, whether you should pack the level of difficulties lower or higher. Yeah. Yeah, and then based on the background of the students, choose the right examples. The example is very important, right? You don't want just to theories all the times, right? So examples, again, you see the background of the students, choose the appropriate examples. Yeah. And yeah, to address the problem that some students who are slow, they cannot catch up during the lectures, what you can do is webcast lecture. That means recorded lectures. Yeah? So students can go back and then view again, yeah, if necessary. Yeah? So I think it's important to have webcast lectures, although some lecturers are reluctant to do it because that will affect the attendance in class. Yeah? Some students just go for the recorded, watch the webcast, but don't attend the lectures. So some lecturers feel that it's not so nice, doesn't feel very good, right, if you have a low attendance rate. Okay? But I think that there's some benefit of having webcasts. So I still do it every semester. Okay, so if there's a need, you may also have to have some additional class for the weaker students. Yeah, some students may not have certain skills or knowledge required in this course, so you may have to conduct some additional class, remedial class to help them out. Yeah, so try your best to narrow down this disparity gap. Okay, and don't forget the good students as well. Yeah, you don't want to set your level too high when you are teaching the whole class, but you should have some more challenging questions for the better students so that they can be engaged at the same time. Yeah, so they don't let them have the impression that this is an easy course. There's nothing they can learn from this. Yeah, so you can always come up with some challenging or provoking questions for them. Yeah, and I would say that you can also take advantage of diversity. I think one of you mentioned about this. Diversity is a problem, but it can also be a advantage. Yeah. So, like for example, sometimes it may be possible for you to pair the better students and the weaker students, so that the better one can help the weaker one. Yeah. So that will also give another motivation for the good students. Yeah, because they have a chance to help out. Yeah, they may be more motivated. And the weaker students can, of course, have a lot to learn. Yeah, since we are talking about we cannot pay full attention to all students. Yeah, so we try to do this kind of peer learning grouping as well. Okay, and also diversity means that you can get the students to maybe share their different experience, their different background. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, but maybe keep that in mind, and if there is a chance for you to have this kind of arrangement, yeah, then that will be good. Okay. Okay. So far, so good. I'm very quiet, huh? You want to say something or not? Okay. Next point: planning for the course. So that means before the course starts, you have to do a lot of preparation in advance. So what to prepare? Many things. The teaching materials. Yeah. The PowerPoint slides that you want to deliver, you may have to prepare it carefully. Right? Don't forget you are teaching in a large class. So you want to make sure that those people sitting right at the back can see what is on the screen. Yeah. So make sure that everything is clear. Use different colors, and point forms and things like that, yeah, to make sure that most students can get. Yeah, so teaching materials includes, of course, lecture slides as well as lecture notes.
I have
Yes?
What do you think teachers, the intention behind PowerPoint presentations,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think the intention should be for teachers to make PowerPoint presentations? Should it be like as a reference for them to teach or as a source of information for students?
Well, you mean whether PowerPoint, this format is...
Like you have the format right here.
Yeah.
Should that be for your reference?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering you are a teacher and we are your students.
Yeah.
Should that be as a reference for you or as a source of information for us? What do you think is better for a teacher and a student?
Okay. For the both. Okay. So of course, when you are teaching in a classroom, both the teachers and the students are referring to the PowerPoint. Yes. Yeah. So for the teachers, of course, like what you say, it will be a reference, a guide, what the sequence, the flow that you have to follow through. Yeah. But definitely, PowerPoint slide itself is not sufficient from the students' learning aspect. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's limitation of what PowerPoint can do. And in fact, there are many educators that actually are against PowerPoint, in the sense that it doesn't really achieve the learning, the kind of real higher order learning outcomes. So you have to supplement the PowerPoint with other things. Like in this setting, we are doing discussion, right, interaction. So it's not just looking at all this line by line coming out. In a large lecture class, you can't do discussion, but you can have incorporate this together with some other maybe multimedia, show them some videos, okay, or show some demonstration. Yeah, so it has to be supplemented with other activities. Do I answer your question? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so other than preparing the lecture notes, lecture slide, you also want to think of some activities, yeah, to engage students in the classroom, which I'll elaborate in a while, and activities outside the classroom, yeah, for them to do it after class. Assessment, you also have to think through, design carefully. Are you just going to have an exam and a test and nothing else, or you want to have many other smaller assessment? Okay. For large class, I think it's quite important to have a textbook. Yeah. I mean, you can't just rely on PowerPoint slides as your lecture notes. Yeah, it's not sufficient. Especially university level, you want students to actually read. Yeah, so it's good to have at least one textbook, if not a reading list. Okay, so once you have textbook, you have to make sure that there are 400 copies in the bookshop, right? So you have to order in advance. Yeah, sometimes it may not be available in your country. You have to arrange the publishers to bring in. Yeah, so you have to do this way in advance and arrange copies in the library. Okay. And then putting your materials online. IVLE is the NUS system, yeah, for the learning management system. Yeah, so you may be using other things like blackboards or something else. Yeah, so it's important that materials are available for students to download and to access. Okay. Now, like I said, it's good to have webcast lectures, and you probably have to make advanced arrangement, okay, so that all your lectures will be captured. Okay. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's a general question actually. Yeah. See, as a lecturer of a university of this sort for the past 10 years, do you think it is easy to tell all these points? Yeah. Do you think the faculties over here or say any university, is it practical for them to do all these things for taking a class of say 500 students, see for example activities in the classroom, activities outside the classroom, or what usually faculties tend to do is just like they'll be assigned to do a job, they have to do that job and then like finish it off. So yeah, it would be more practical for say a class of say 100, max to max 100. Say we are coming from a class of say 40. Even if it is 40 students in one class, it's like the teachers find it very difficult to manage all these things together, and you're giving triple the effort that has to be put in by the faculty. So overall, I think like you can summarize that a faculty to take class for 400 or 500 has to take triple the amount of effort that another faculty takes.
If you just take this as just a job, then of course you probably just do the minimal. Yeah, so of course some of these things are necessary. Teaching materials, assessment, maybe that's it. Yeah, I've seen some colleagues doing that. Yeah, but you have to ask yourself whether that is sufficient to engage the students. If the students are not engaged, not learning, at the end, defeat the whole point.
It's very subjective and it's a contingency approach that from person to person you actually can, all these things differ.
Yes. But of course there's a minimum things that you have to do. Yeah? So exam and at least a midterm test is a must. Okay, so there's some basic guideline. Yeah. You have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that PowerPoints should be supplemented with reference links or reading material. Apart from quizzes, do you think a teacher can do something else to ensure that his students actually read the material, apart from quizzes, conducting quizzes?
You mean quizzes as in tests?
Yes, apart from them, do you think a teacher can do anything to ensure that his students read?
Well, unless if you're talking about large class, it may be difficult. Yeah, you can't ensure everyone do that. Yeah, but if it is a smaller class, it is possible. I mean, you can have some kind of compulsory, discussion using the discussion forum or blogs or whatever, that they have to read certain things and comments or write a review and things like that. I'm not talking about mathematics, but some other maybe humanities. This kind is possible. Yeah, but so these are what I mean by extra activities inside and outside classroom. Yeah, if you think that certain skills can be soft skills, right, like communication skills that you also want the students to have. Yeah, other than the knowledge, other than the content. Yeah, so you may want to design some of this, incorporate into your activities. Yeah. Okay, and of course, if you have a group of TAs to help you, you have to communicate with them. Yeah. Again, I see many colleagues, TAs are being assigned to them. They just give them, okay, this is the question, this is the answer, and then just leave it to them to deliver. It's very common, which I think that is not ideal, yeah, because many of these TAs are not really experienced, yeah, and I mean in terms of quality that we are talking about earlier on, yeah. So we really have to do a little bit more, right, to not only just to monitor them, but in fact to support them. Yeah, I think the TAs are also learning how to teach. So to me, I think it's important to educate them as well. The TAs mostly are graduate students like you. Yeah, of course they have their own courses to take, but at the same time, they are also teaching, right? And in future they may become professors in university, who knows, right? So it's important to give them this kind of training as well. Yeah. Okay, and if you get some administrative support, you also have to communicate with them. So these are all the things that need to be prepared. So that's why it's a lot of time and effort. Yeah. Okay, so when you are planning all this, keep in mind that you are doing this for a large class. So what are the things that you have to take into consideration? Plan carefully so that to avoid or to minimize changes along the way. Because you know that usually for large class, it's harder to change. Suddenly you change your mind. Chapter 1 topics, you want to switch with chapter 3. Sometimes it's difficult. Yeah? So minimize changes. And try to plan in advance. I already mentioned a few times. Okay, use past experience again. Use past students' feedback. Yeah, all this you should take into consideration to help you improve your classes.
Plan carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me in detail, specifically what you're going to plan on.
I would say that you have to think carefully. You know, the sequence that you want things to happen, and then it must be tied with your assessment, right? I mean, you don't teach because you probably want to put up all the tutorials, all the exercise problems for the whole semester up on day one. Yeah, so everything must correspond. Yeah, you want to set the questions that you can't actually have not covered yet. Yeah, but students will have to do it. Yeah, so these are the things that you have to plan properly. Okay. Preempt some abnormality that you can have. For example, sometimes it can't be held, right? There will be holidays, yeah, and your lectures happen to be on that, so you miss class. So either you make it up, or you just have to cut down some content. So sometimes things get delayed. So it may not be the same semester after semester. Yeah, so these are the things that you have to take care. Again, after you have planned everything, try to make it available to the students. Yeah, don't keep it to yourself. And what I normally do is the very first lecture, the very first time I meet the students, I will give an introductory lectures to orientate the students, right? To let them know what is going on. This is what I want to cover. These are the sequence. Okay, these are my expectations. These are my rules. Yeah, so they will remember. Yeah, usually the first lecture is what they remember most about the course. Yeah, as you go down along the road, they tend to forget many of the things. Yeah. Okay, so we come to engaging in class. So what can you do to make your class more active or more lively? So just now you say that you want to go to my class to visit. Okay, so these are some of the things that I do in class. Okay, so from time to time you give them some pop quiz. Pop quiz means surprise quiz. They do not know in advance. For me, I do lecture quiz. That means I tell them every lecture there is going to be some short quizzes. Yeah, so that they know they have to come. Okay, so that usually will solve the attendance problems. The students will come. Yeah, and I use clickers. You know clickers? Classroom response systems. That means that every student will issue a keypad. Yeah, and the teacher will have a receiver attached to their PC. Yeah, and then there will be question flash, and students can actually respond. Okay, multiple choice A, B, C, D. So students can enter A, B, C, D from their clickers. Okay, so we call that gadget clickers. Yeah, so you can see immediately the result. Yeah. Have you heard of this, something like this before? No. Yeah. I should have brought some and let you do some hands-on. Yeah. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This kind. Yeah. So you can send in your response, and then immediately you can show the result. Okay, how many choose A, how many choose B, and so on. Yeah. So I use that together with the lecture quiz. Yeah. So that is very interactive. Yeah. But logistic is the nightmare, right? Because you have to issue the clickers to 400 students. A lot of work, collect back. So what I do is I loan to them during the first day. They will keep it for the whole semester, and then they will return only at the end of the semester. Okay? And I get help from my IT staff. Yeah. So some administrative staff will help me to do this logistic. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of troublesome, but it's worth doing that. Okay? And the atmosphere is totally different. Yeah. Well, if you're interested, I can say more about this. This morning, someone asked me, so if you give it to students, will the student lose it or not? Lost the clickers. So each clickers is like $80, Singapore dollars, $80, $100. So what if they lost it? Yeah. And actually, I'm happy to say that I've tried this, I think, 3 times. All the clickers come back at the end of the semester. Yeah. Because I practice a buddy system, So every 2 students will share one. So they actually, do you try that? Yeah, okay. He's actually my students before. Okay, yeah, so 2 persons share one. Another advantage is that the 2 buddies can share or can discuss before they answer the question. Yeah, so the energy, the interaction level is elevated. Yeah. Okay, if you do not have clickers, sometimes what you can do something simple. Yeah, you can ask question. Well, but you say that your experience is that normally if you ask question in a large class, nobody will answer. Am I right? Yeah. Well, if you try to ask some simple question, okay, just yes, no question, yeah, you may get some response. Okay, so you must know some question asking skills. Yeah, you don't ask questions that are difficult for them to answer, and then everyone then you can't hear what they say. Yeah. So something simple, you get unanimous answer. Yes, no, you can hear. Yeah. But you don't want to ask every time just ask simple question, right? Sometimes you want to ask more challenging, thought-provoking questions. Yeah, you can just ask the question, and you don't expect them to reply. It's just for them to think. Yeah. So from time to time, just ask some. Okay, why is this? Okay, it seems to be defying what we normally see. Okay, so some question like this, let them think through. Yeah. Instead of you talking all the time. But you don't expect them, you don't need them to answer. Okay, think, pair, share is actually quite a well-known technique, yeah, for large class. That means, again, you just pair up the students. With or without clickers, you can pair students up, right? And then the lecturer asks a question, then you can share, you discuss among yourself, among your pairs or buddy, and then the lecturers may go around, okay, so your group, what do you think? Yeah, just selectively, you cannot ask all 200 pairs, but you can ask a few to contribute. Yeah. Okay, this is also one trick that I do. Incomplete lecture notes. Yeah, so lecture notes is not just complete, so students just comfortably sit down and do nothing and listen and fall asleep. Yeah, so you leave some space in the lecture notes so that they have to take down notes. Yeah. Okay. You can also use worksheets. I mean, in the lecture, right? So from time to time, they have to refer to this worksheet. So there are some questions. Okay, you already learned this concept. Now apply to solve this question. You can ask them to do it individually or ask them to do it in group again. Okay. Yeah. Using multimedia, like what I said just now, again, is something that will capture students' attention. Yeah, use animation, YouTube, all this video. Yeah, have a change. Yeah, of course, the PowerPoint itself is things will come out line by line, also quite animated, but not as effective as if you show some video clips. Yeah, or sometimes tell some jokes. Yeah, that will help as well. Okay. Okay, let's look at the 12 ET again. So some of them, okay, video clip, as you can see. Okay, so this one is actually an engineering professor. So sometimes he wants to do some demonstration. Yeah, so, and it can't be really carried out in real time. So what he did is he actually produced or developed some video clips on the demonstration. Okay, so and then flash it on the screen, zoom in so everyone can see clearly. Yeah, so there is also some good strategy. Again, YouTube, PowerPoint. You see that PowerPoint itself usually will come together with some other things to supplement. Yeah, animation. Okay, there's one interesting one that this guy is doing. CS is a computer science. Yeah, he actually conducts the lectures in the lab. So I was quite curious, how do you conduct lectures with 200 students in the computer lab? So I asked him and clarify, and he says that actually his lectures also break down into small groups. So that means he doesn't deliver a group for 200 students, but the lectures will be conducted in the lab in small groups as well. Okay, so there are different formats to get away with this large class issue. Okay, outside class, webcast again, right? Students can choose to view the webcast lecture over and over again outside at their own time. Online quiz, so you can design some, this is nowadays quite common, right? I mean, you can design some simple multiple choice, short answer question, put it on the web, and students can do it on their own, and then they can get the answer immediately, right? So we can design something like that quite easily. Online tutorials, that means this is something to help students step by step. And usually it comes with some textbook. Yeah? Some big publishers, when they sell you the textbook, they will come with all this additional package, technologies, website. Yeah? Some have these online tutorials that you can tap on. Yeah? Discussion forum is it's very simple, and then but is sort of quite effective. Yeah? So students just go in and then discuss among themselves after class. Yeah. Chat room. So chat room is for students to chat usually. So, but I make use of chat room before exam. It's very popular. Okay. So the night before exam, I will go into the chat room, and many students will come and ask me questions. So if you ask me, how do you actually attend to giving feedback, giving attention to students, this is one way. Yeah, so students come into the chat room, can be easily 100 of them, okay? They will take turns to ask questions, and then we reply. Okay, or you can use something more advanced, like this WebEx is a software system that, something like a video conferencing, okay? And it has a lot of features like whiteboard, or you can share documents, show your PowerPoint. Yeah, so you can do additional stuff. Yeah, compared to chat room, you can only type words. So if you want the mathematics equation, there's limitation that you can do. Yeah. Okay. Are you anyone curious about any of this that you want me to elaborate? No. Okay. Yes and no. Maybe initially you still have to invest some effort to maybe create or develop, say, the online quiz. But then again, you can use it over and over again. Yeah, in the long run.
What about the effectiveness of this?
So you have to ask yourself, what is the objective of doing this? Yeah, if you're just doing this for fun, then and doesn't really achieve any learning outcome, then of course no use. Yeah.
This is the most effective in terms of
which is the most effective? I think it serves different purpose. Yeah, discussion forum is for a channel for students to discuss. Yeah, and this one actually works quite well and is easy to implement. Discussion forum, you just open the discussion forum and students just go in. Chat room is also quite convenient. Yeah, you just go in and so all the platforms are already there. Online quiz, I think that it is effective if you design those questions well, test the students' concept. Yeah, so students will gain some feedback because you can't give personalized feedback to students. So having online quiz, so if their answer is wrong, they instantly get to know whether they are right or wrong, why is it wrong. Yeah, so effective in terms of giving them feedback. So it serves different purpose. Discussion forum is more for peer learning, peer support. Online quiz is more for getting feedback. Yeah, webcast lecture is to solve the problems of slower learners want to relearn. Yeah, so it serves different purposes. Yeah, but whichever format you're talking about, you must do it right. Yeah, if you didn't really put in effort or didn't think through carefully, it may fail. Yeah, no matter how sophisticated the software or the technologies may be. Yeah. Okay, Facebook. Everyone have Facebook? That's what I think. so is it useful to engage students? What do you think? No, why? Facebook is just for social networking, right? Yeah, usually if you know that the professor is in this Facebook, all the students will run away. Okay, before that I don't really use Facebook and I'm not really familiar, but for this last semester I tried it out, and well, you get one or two students that like to post things there, but majority will just carry on with their own life. Okay. Huh? You think so?
Because a lot of people do tend to write stuff and then depend, or especially in corporate world, they do tend to write a lot of very honest feedback about their bosses and all that, and then
even if they know the bosses is reading it.
So then it's
Okay.
more like a socializing network. So they don't take it seriously. So they're just open with it.
Okay.
They openly express. It doesn't
Okay.
happen.
in fact there was an instance recently where a person had called in sick and then wrote on his Facebook that he had gone here and there and had a lot of fun. He got fired from the job. That's how it is.
But okay, but I don't know, because I don't use this quite often. So do you think that, of course, the students will know that because I created this Facebook, right? I invited them as friends. So I actually have 200 over friends in my module Facebook. Okay, but not many people post. Many of them say that they from time to time they will come in and take a look and visit for a while. Yeah, but it's not really as effective for discussion as compared to discussion forum. Yeah. So maybe the lecturer should maintain a low profile in such a Facebook. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Because if I speak too much, the students will tend to keep quiet, and maybe they do not want to give you any honest kind of feedback. I don't know. What do you think?
It depends on the sample you're taking, the region, the mentality of the students. It will vary depending on their educational system.
The culture.
The culture. Depends on a lot of factors. If you sample from every country, you'll get different results. So that, in that case, some countries' Facebook might be a boon, otherwise.
Because I thought that my idea is, in a discussion forum, if the lecturer don't go in and from time to time reply or respond, then after a while the discussion will die off, and the forum will be like, nobody will visit. Yeah, Facebook.
Via Facebook, you can keep in touch with your students. If you see the other 6 things, you don't truly have a touch with the students and how they feel and what are they going through with their course. But whereas in Facebook, you can get a sense of
individual contact.
Provided they will open up lah. Yeah, but I don't see that. Maybe I'll try again.
See, Facebook has this mechanism. You don't see it probably because you're left out of the loop. I mean, probably you've been blocked. So they are. I mean, that is possible, right? So.
Don't you think there's a chance in discussion forums, like people move away? Say you divide them into groups of 10 or something, wherein this 1 or 2 might be the people who actually usually posts or they effectively participate. The others tend to hide behind the screens, but be a part of the forum. That's all. No? So I think when I agree to what they say about Facebook, it creates an individual link to all these people rather than on a group. On a group basis means only 2 or 3 will be working and all the others would be.
Right.
I see a decreasing trend of participation in the discussion forum. So I thought I will try out Facebook, and it seems that the discussion doesn't carry over to Facebook for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still experimenting. Yeah, but I thought that using Facebook is convenient for you to put up some video, some web links, relevant ones. Yeah, and you reach out to students. Yeah, more easily. Yeah. Okay, blog and wiki, I I don't know. I personally don't use them for my large class. I think if you want to read 300 blocks, that's quite impossible, right? So I personally don't use it. But actually this morning, one of the participants says that he actually tried out for his large class using Wiki. Yeah? Wiki may still be possible, but I tried out once only and it doesn't really quite work out. You know Wiki, no? Yeah. So yeah. Wikipedia is one form of Wiki. So Wiki is like you try to create a document and then people will try to add ons, can contribute, and eventually form a complete piece of work. So it's collaboration. Yeah. So yeah, there are people who do that, but usually, if you want to manage it in a large class, 400 students, it may not be that easy. Yeah, but I don't rule out the possibility. Yes.
Very sorry, one more doubt. See, relating all these topics to what you take. Okay, a course like mathematics has a lot of limitations for conducting discussion forums, chat rooms. You can't discuss on an equation or all these formulated stuff like the calculus or all these things. It should be something like wherein people can easily relate to, say, for example, an economics or something like that is relevant to all of their information. How do you do all these things in mathematics?
Well, I don't know. For the discussion forum that our university actually have some simple, ways to type in mathematics formulas. Yeah. So because this is a forum that is catered to university education. So there are some additional features built in. So that's possible. There is a way to get around the problems. Yeah. But usually students don't want to do this general discussion in the university discussion forum. They rather do it in their own outside circle. Yeah.
What about if you organize your big class of 200 students into smaller groups and have strong students manage within each group for the wiki, so that as a lecturer you perhaps read executive summaries of these 10 groups or something?
Yeah. That is something that might be possible. Yeah. Or even just tutors leading the groups. Yeah. So it is possible, but honestly, I have not tried it out myself. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So again, let's look at some of the group things that 12 excellent teachers have done. Okay, most of them are using IVLE. As I said, IVLE is the NUS learning management system. Okay, so yeah, it's very common. The most popular one is the discussion forum. Yeah, most of them use that, to create a channel for students to discuss. Some of them suggest that giving some small incentive, yeah, for them to really participate actively. Yeah. It's really about active participation. You don't want just the discussion forum there to once in a while students just come in and pose one question. Yeah, that's not going to be very exciting. Yeah, so a small percentage may be useful to help them, to help the energy going. Okay. Yeah, some other something special is e-learning website. Okay, some lecturers are more savvy, IT savvy. They can create some e-learning either applets or things like that to allow students to do self-learning outside the class. Video and online journal. Yeah, this is also something quite innovative. Yeah, I mean, innovative in the sense that is not what normally lecturers will do. Yeah, but again, it depends on what subjects we are talking about. Okay, watching documents, podcasts. Yeah, of course, you can always make the YouTube videos, audio available, and ask students. It's something like a reading list, additional things for them to assess.
So these are what teachers have used. Do they know which are the ones students like best?
I didn't follow up with them, but I guess these are the things that they usually use. So I presume that they find that these are the effective tools. Yeah.
Yeah, but effectiveness in this case is measured from our point of view.
Yeah.
From the learners, it may not be their style. They're only looking at discussion forum because we insist on discussion forum. It may not be their choice of platform.
Whether they like it or
not. Well, whether they think it's something that engages them. Yeah. I mean, like is one thing, but engaging for Gen Y may be quite a different story. I mean, you said yourself that the online discussion tend to be a bit low on discussion. They rather go to their own Facebook and do stuff, which already tells me that our forum, for some reason, is not as attractive than their own YouTube platforms and whatnot, right? But I don't understand that, because to me, they're the same sort of things. So what is the difference here? Why do they rather place on Facebook and not do it on this forum?
Well, there was some discussion just now that on Facebook, students seem to be more open.
Why?
In terms of their...
Facebook is more of an informal kind of setup wherein you interact.
Psychologically,
yeah. But when it comes to, like, even in a student-teacher relationship, when you come to a Facebook kind of scenario, you wouldn't open up that much to even that. It might take off that formality or that respect that we have for the teacher. On Facebook, maybe you might be having a good relation, but when it comes to the class, you lose that sense of what you say, that interest or that seriousness. So I don't think Facebook as a medium for interaction on.
Yeah. So my own module Facebook is not that successful in terms of trying to achieve the kind of discussion that I want. Okay. Okay, so these are more or less the same using the IVLE tools. Okay, assessment. Yeah, we know that assessment is a big problem for large class. Yeah. So which format do you want to use? Some of these are the standard. Yeah, the test, exam, homework, project works. Yeah. So, but there are some other smaller components that you can try to adopt as well. Yeah. Worksheets can be done during the lecture. Yeah, just to engage the student a bit more, or it can be a take-home one. Lecture quiz, like what I mentioned just now, right? So again, to have some more interaction, more engaging to the students in class. Yeah. So and you may come up with other ways to assess students as well. Anyone want to have encounter any other ways to assess students? Okay, I have more things to say about assessment. Yeah, so depending on what you want to achieve, okay, what you want students to learn, what you want to test the students, you have a lot of choice. Yeah, for a large class, it's very tempted for you to do just MCQ, multiple choice, easy to mark, right? You can even ask machine to mark. Yeah, but does it really test what you want? Okay, so maybe you still have to consider some written assessment. Yeah, it's not easy in terms of grading, but if it is necessary. Yeah, so in class versus take home online. Yeah, so there are many different ways. So you may want to design a few different type of assessment, and maybe one is for group work, the other type is for individual work, and so on and so forth. Yeah? So these are some of the options that you can consider. Yeah? Different combination. Yeah, if you have to do grading of written assessment, good luck to you, right? So you have 400 students, that means even if you just grade one question, you have 400 to grade, right? So you definitely will need help from either your colleagues or teaching assistant, yeah? So in order to ensure qualities again, so you have to, okay, did I Okay, let me go through this one first. Of course, you yourself shouldn't just rely on TAs to do the grading. You also have to do some grading in order to understand the progress of the student, the understanding of the students. Yeah. So you should also try to grade some of the homework yourself. Yeah. In the event that you have to rely on other people to help you, other graders, then you must have a very clear marking scheme, yeah, so that everyone can follow and try to be consistent. So sometimes you don't just throw the marking scheme to the graders. You have to ensure consistency. So that means sometimes you have to look at some sample from each grader, see whether they are following the marking scheme or not. Yeah. So if someone are not doing their job, just tick and cross, then you may have to remind them. Yeah. Okay, other consideration. This is more like a logistic issue. It's actually quite difficult to collect and return scripts. So you must plan well how to have an efficient system to do this. Okay. Venue for assessment. If it is a test, there's 20% weightage. You don't want to conduct it in the lecture theater, right? Everyone can see each other's answer script. Yeah, so it's very easy for students to cheat. So you have to make sure that you choose the right venue for the right type of assessment. Okay, and it will be good to have a seat plan. Yeah, so seat numbers arranged accordingly, so that you facilitate collecting of scripts, marking, and entering marks subsequently. Yeah, so all this will help you to actually make things more efficient. Try to minimize plagiarism. I know plagiarism, especially take-home assignment, you cannot avoid it totally. Yeah, of course, those are essays. You can do the turn it in, as I said before, but sometimes you still cannot avoid. Yeah, I say you try to threaten the students that you will take action. Yeah, but that it will still happen. Yeah, but you try to minimize this as far as possible. Yeah, it's important to do that. Otherwise, everyone will start copying from each other. Yeah. So the teachers must send a message that you take this seriously. Okay. All right. So there are also problems like you have 10 homework assignments or maybe 10 lecture quiz. But there are students who have valid reason that they cannot make it. So they will come to you, ask for makeup, you know. So it's very time-consuming if you have to attend to all this. Yeah. So one way you can do it is to maybe you drop the lowest score. Yeah. Out of the 10 assignment, you just take the best 9. Yeah. So even if some students miss one assignment or one quiz, it's not going to affect. Yeah. So these are some practice that you can consider. Okay, yeah, uploading the assessment score. So in our IVLA system, there's something called Gradebook where students can go in to look at their score. Yeah, so in a way, it helps for students themselves to do a self-checking whether scores are entered correctly. You can also take the opportunity to actually put out some remarks, yeah, to encourage them. Yeah, if they have done well, just put down a few encouraging words. If they're not doing that well, you know, just remind them to work harder next time. Yeah, so it's quite easy to do this. Yeah, the technology can help. Okay. Announcement. I mentioned earlier the problem is that sometimes you want to remind students, send them some message, but they are not getting it, right? Because they simply don't come to class. Yeah, so class announcement may not fully work if only 60% of students come to class. Yeah, then you say, okay, you send group emails to them, but it turns out that many students don't read emails, or they read it once a month. Yeah, so it may be too late for them. So try to have many different channels, yeah, to reach them. Yeah, so of course one way is to try to archive it at some place that they know where to refer to. Okay. I tried Facebook, yeah, but as I said, it's not really effective, even for announcement. Students tell me that it's still more effective to do the normal class announcement. Yeah. It's quite interesting. I'm just experimenting, but now I know. Okay. So no matter what, you need to do some constant reminder, especially if you do not want them to forget about the deadline of submitting homeworks and things like that. And then you have to entertain all the requests, you know. So rather you send one reminders, yeah, in advance.
But at some level, isn't some of this students' responsibility?
You can say that, yes. Yeah, many people argue that, okay, the students are grown up, the students should be mature, but the fact is that...
So I imagine that, I mean, on day one, I set some rules about telling them about my email announcement or whatever it is, and I say, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you kind of do it at your own detriment, right? So, because to me, like that, it's very student-friendly, but it can also be argued as very spoon-feeding, or we are just sort of not giving them ownership of their own learning. So, I personally would want to strike some kind of a balance here. Not trying to be so draconian and authoritarian, but on the other hand, not to give constant reminders and handhold them, because they're adults, right? They got to deal with it.
Well, you have a choice. Right? I mean, if you do not want the hassle of them coming to plead you to you, that okay, you know, yeah. So you just want.
As that ownership, then they don't have an excuse to come and plead, because you've already told them that these are your weekly announcements. I mean, of course, I'm not going to try to send an email every day, but there must be some decent level where you must read your email at some regular interval. If you miss something important that I say, it's the student's problem.
I would say majority, 90% will do this, but you know, in a large class, even like 5% is a lot. So small class, I don't care, but for, you know, see whether how you want to handle. So of course, just now I mentioned about the ground rule again, right? Okay, monitoring students. I think I have to speed up a bit already. There are two aspects: monitor their progress and monitor their participation. Okay, so for the progress, you have to make use of the assessment, yeah, homework, tests to gauge how much they have learned, yeah, from the performance, and question they ask you or ask the TAs, and then you get the feedback from the TAs, yeah. So from there you get some feel how the students are doing. Yeah, and it's very common that some lecturers themselves will teach a few of the small tutorial class, yeah, just to have some idea of how the students are doing. It's like a sample, but you help. In the event that you don't have a chance to teach the tutorial class yourself, my own practice is I will sit in some of the tutorial classes, yeah, maybe half an hour from time to time to gauge and to observe. Yeah, but more importantly is try to communicate with your TAs frequently to get feedbacks from them, yeah? And it's also important that you do some kind of a midterm survey, yeah? I think it's also quite commonly practiced in many universities that there's an end of the semester feedback. Am I right? Yeah, but that's usually too late, right? I mean, for this group of students, it's not going to benefit them, yeah? Nothing can be changed already, it's too late. Yeah? So it will be good that you conduct some informal midterm feedback survey, yeah? So that it's still not too late to make some adjustment. Or if there's some miscommunication or some students that they think, why this lecturers give me so many works and things like that, there's a chance for you to explain to them. Yeah? Or you can do some just in-class survey. Of course, if you have the clickers, you can actually conduct this quite conveniently. Question SMS is another features in NUS that students can use their own handphone, send a message to a system, and you capture their response. Yeah. So even if you don't have clickers, this is an alternative. Yeah.
When students use their handphone to do question SMS,
yeah.
Does it cost them anything?
The normal message price will apply. So it will count as one of their message. If usually they have 500 frees or 1,000 or even more, right? Participation. Okay, how do you monitor participation? I think that one, you have to rely on your TAs to reflect to you how's their attendance, whether any students never attends your class, never submit any homework. Yeah, so you have to pay attention. Yeah. And if you have a lot of some online activities, actually you can look at the hit counts, right? So technologies, there's always this advantage of you can monitor the participation. Okay. Okay, how do you give feedback? I would say that you cannot handle everyone. Yeah, so you need the help from the TAs again. Okay, and also try to again give a chance for students to group among themselves and to provide feedback. Yeah, the better students help out with the weaker students. Yeah, or even maybe the students of the same level, they can also help each other by discussion. So at the lecturer level, I think what you can do is to try to compile a list of common mistakes, yeah, misconception, and then tell them in class or email them. Yeah. If the lecturer himself want to do some individual feedbacks, not to 400 students, but you can send it to some selected group, depending on what you feel. You want to attend to the weakest, lower 25% or something like that. I think it's still manageable. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, nothing beats face-to-face consultation. When the students come to you, then of course you can give them instant feedback. Yeah. So it's more personalized. But of course, you don't expect all 400 students to come to you. It's overwhelming. Yeah. So if students are already taking their initiative to come to you, then of course you don't have to really do much here. But if students find that there's a distance between you and them, yeah, because 400 versus 1, students naturally will feel that there's a big distance. Yeah, the lecturers is not so approachable. Yeah, so sometimes you need some encouragement. Yeah, especially to the weaker students that you think that they are lack of confidence to come forward and ask you questions. Yeah. Again, online quiz. Yeah, you design some kind of online platform with instant feedback. Yeah, so this will help as well. Yeah, so you can use many different aspects to help to provide as many feedback to the students as possible. Okay, attention and support again. I can't stress this, the importance of the TA's help. Again, you can have some peer support among the students. So personal attention, again, you have to do it selectively. Maybe pay attention to the weakest, And yeah, it's not possible for you to learn all the students' names. Yeah, but at least you can try to learn some names. Yeah, that will help. At least the students know that you are trying to make an effort. Yeah, if I know your name, although I do not know her name, but you know that it shows that you care, right? And if there's an opportunity, try to put out some words of encouragement, okay, on the homework assignment, on their test before you return to them. Yeah. Encourage them to ask questions. Okay, sometimes after class, there will be students who are surrounding you, right? Especially, a big class, 10, 20 students will be asking you questions after the class, and many other students who do not have a chance. Yeah, so you have to create other channels for them to ask questions. Let them know that they can also ask questions using other methods. Yeah. Yeah. So this is actually what I just said. Okay. I almost come to the end, but this, to me, I think this is the most important slide. Okay. You see just now that many of the issues you really need the support of the teaching assistant. So you want to ensure quality, ensure consistency. Yeah. So of course, first of all, you have to allocate the task fairly and appropriately. Fairly so that some of you, it won't cause some unhappiness among the TAs. Appropriately, you probably have to also know the strength and weakness of your TAs, what they can do best. whether they should do the grading or whether they should go in the classroom to do tutorial or facilitate the class. Yeah. So still, there's different qualities among the TAs. So one way is to maintain fairness for your student is to maybe you can rotate the groups. Yeah. I observe some graders actually are very detailed, give a lot of comments, but some graders just give 1 or 2 words. Yeah. So sometimes you can rotate the assignment to switch among the graders. So everyone get a chance to at least have some more quality kind of feedback. Yeah, definitely you have to prepare answer sheets and marking scheme for your TA so that to ensure some basic consistency. Briefing session, okay. Before you ask them to carry out their job, it's important to brief them, okay, face to face if possible. Yeah, instead of just put the marking scheme inside their pigeonhole and then just ask them to go and do their job. Yeah, there should be something to be emphasized. Yeah, and ensure that they all get the instructions clearly. Okay, and personally, what I do is I will sit in a tutor's class. Yeah, and see if there are certain things that they need to improve. Yeah, whether they are talking loud enough, whether they are always facing the whiteboard when they are delivering teaching the class. Sample check refers to the homework, whether they are doing their job. Yeah, if they are not doing it properly, I will remind them. Yeah, you better write more comments. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you want to involve your TAs a little bit more. You can invite them, encourage them to attend your lectures so they can follow up, they know what's going on. Okay, okay, so, well, it may help sometimes to assign a chief TA. Yes, someone that is more responsible. Yeah, you can actually get them to help you a little bit more. Yeah. Honestly speaking, coordinating TAs is also very time consuming. Yeah. So if you have someone that can help you as helpful, then that will be good. Okay, and other than the briefing, there should still be some regular communication. Yeah, you collect feedback from the TAs, how the students are doing, and you also provide feedback to the TAs, what they need to improve in their class. Okay, and if necessary, you should provide some kind of training to the teaching assistant as well, and counseling them if they are not really not responsible or not doing their job properly. Yeah?
Just out of curiosity, do you pay your chief TA more?
No. No, but incentive will be maybe they do less marking. Yeah, I mean, we'll adjust the workload accordingly. Yeah. But usually, those that are enthusiastic, they don't mind, taking up this kind of role. Yeah. So you must know them well in order to do that. Okay.
Yes, and it is a good incentive. Students do feel recognized about the high work.
Okay, so this is my last slide, concluding remarks. So you can all go home after this. Okay, AKA, also known as improving student feedback scores. Okay, here I associate large class size versus low student feedback score. Yeah, so I think after today's session, you may be able to pick up some strategies. Yeah, that can. I think the intention is not really just to boost your student feedback score, but if you do things right, students appreciate it. Of course, it will help. Yeah. Well, of course, there's no shortcut. You don't try to do minimal work and hope to achieve the kind of qualities or the kind of outcomes that you want. Yeah, it's always hard work. Okay, of course, you have to engage your students, either in the class or outside the class. Yeah, and make sure that the engagement it will help them to learn. It's important to be organized, especially in a large class. Yeah, be firm but fair about all the rules, all the the assignment. Be available. Yeah, you know that there is a natural distance between you and the big class. So make sure you give the students the impression that you are available to them when they need you, okay? Show that you care. You don't just verbally tell them that I care. Yeah, you have to have some action, yeah, so that they really see that you genuinely is there and you care about them, yeah, through either emails or other communication. Okay, of course, important to understand your students' background, yeah. And okay, I mentioned communication already. Okay, and last but not least, remember, teaching large class is a teamwork. Yeah, try to work with your TAs and make sure that they work efficiently and effectively. Okay. Okay, so this is a list of further reading if you are interested. So I particularly want to point out to this last one. It's actually a compiled list of articles and documents about teaching large classes. Yeah, many useful resources there. Okay, any questions?
Sure. Yes. Teaching a large group is a tough job.
Yes.
And most of the lecturers might not do it unless there is a top management pressure or a, unavoidable situation. So when I consider the case that I am teaching a large group, what are the advantages or the learnings that I have over a lecturer or a professor who is teaching just a small class? What is the difference of the learnings that I get?
The learning for the teacher.
Other than the love for the job that you do, what are the learnings that I as a lecturer get when I teach a large group rather than when I compare it with one who is teaching a smaller group?
If you're talking about learning, of course you get a wider spectrum of students, diversity. So you get to see different students' behavior, right? So you learn about, more about students, either psychology, and this is one aspect.
Even if it's in individual groups, like if I dissect the group into smaller classes, that I will get.
Smaller groups, chances are you may not get that kind of wide diversity. Yeah, that's one thing. Okay, another aspect of learning is that you get to experiment on different kind of teaching strategies. You can try out different ways and see what are effective, right? I mean, just now I said the different innovative approach to engage students inside and outside the classroom. To me, I always like to experiment. Sometimes it works well, sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. Yeah? So through this, I learn what are effective teaching methods. Yeah? And then I can share with other colleagues as well. Yeah? I mean, personally, teaching large class, I enjoy it. I mean, I simply love the energy in the large class that small class doesn't have. I mean, small class, you have other kind of interaction, more interactive. But when you deliver a big class, you can engage the students well. Actually, the kind of satisfaction you get is different, but I enjoy it. Yeah. Okay, if no more questions, I thank you for your attention and your participation, and hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I'd like to thank Victor for the little token. This is a book authored by our Vice Provost, Prof. Tan Tai Yong. So we get to read some local history and learn.